Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be going through the King in Black tie-in Thunderbolts #1, written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Juan Ferreira. Juan Ferreira, one of my favorite artists in all of comics, not just because he has put me in a bunch of issues. That's besides the point. His art is really great. And really this week, Matthew Rosenberg has stepped up and given the fans, given the people, some comics that are really enjoyable. This Thunderbolts book is a lot of fun. He also ended up doing the Grifter backup in the Dark Detective over there at DC with the Future State. 2 real fun issues this week. And what this is, you know, if you're a DC fan or whatnot, the Thunderbolts are a team that has been around, but they're the Suicide Squad of the Marvel Universe. But with this team and how you start, you are setting up the idea that Fisk is getting these villains and saying to them, you owe me. You guys owe me. You are working in New York City without me letting you, so you are going to join up and we are going to take down Null. And Fisk does this stuff, and he always has ulterior motives, always wants to look good, but he does care about New York City, and with Null destroying it, even if it's the idea of if Null destroys New York City, Kingpin doesn't have anything to rule over, he's mayor, all that stuff. So he gathers up this team, and it is a crazy team. Taskmaster, Mr. Fear, Star, Batroc the Leaper, Rhino, Ampere, and Snakehead. Now, if you don't know Ampere and Snakehead, don't worry, because they are not long for this world. We also even have a villain, Incendiary, who is the one that is used to kind of say, hey, I don't want to get involved with this, I'm out of here. And then in the distance, you hear him getting shot to death by Fisk's guys. So that gives the idea, well, we better join up with Fisk. He ends up having them sign contracts and says, you have to go and get this one particular person that we are going to use to fight against Null. Taskmaster sees this and like, really, him? Like, we're going to get this. Is this a joke? He's like, no, I'm not a joking guy with this. But in the meantime, Matthew Rosenberg's having a lot of fun with this issue. And you have Star, which actually surprised me, where, oh my God, Star's there. I like Star as a character. I think this is a cool way to throw her in and basically say to the rest of them, including Mr. Fear, that Star's the one who is the heavy hitter here. She's the one who has the only chance to take down Null than all of you together. So basically, your job is to make sure she lives. So you have that. They go out to do this mission. And again, the humor continues with Mr. Fear wanting to come up with another name. They even say this Thunderbolts name, that's a name that was, put together by a Nazi. I mean, that was Baron Zemo's deal. I don't need that. I don't need Nazi names. So how about we just call each other the Hope League? Like, no. The idea is that Fisk, he ends up having the copyright to the Thunderbolts. So it's going to be the Thunderbolts through and through while they're going there. And like a issue and like a team like the Suicide Squad or the Thunderbolts, the good thing about it is these characters can die, and they do. Snakehead, the first to go down here, where a symbiote dragon comes flying in. Luckily for Mr. Fear, he ends up bending over. He sees a shiny coin, bends over, and avoids getting eaten. But Snakehead just gets cut in half. And they're like, oh my God, is she okay? No, she's in half. She's dead. And Mr. Fear's like, she's very dead, as they then end up having to fight these symbiote dragons. And you go and you do end up seeing Star is the heavy hitter. Mr. Fear, though, he doesn't have any fear. He just goes right at it. Star ends up shooting this dragon and pretty much shooting its head off. And that's where Rhino doesn't want any parts of this anymore. You end up having Ampere saying, I don't know that I want to deal with this. I mean, Snakehead's in half. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave. And if Fisk has a problem with it, I'll deal with him later. Well, Mr. Fear does not like that, and he goes and stabs him through in the back, ends up killing Ampere Rhino just says, I'm out of here. And of course, Rhino's Rhino. He's so big. And I love the art by Juan Ferreira showing you this just massive Rhino. It's just like, yeah, I'm leaving. They're like, yeah, okay. You could go. And you even have Taskmaster. Yeah, I don't really want Rhino to just trample me and kill me. So we're just going to let him go. But we need some things. And one of the funny things is Batroc, the Leaper's there. Goodbye, Mr. Hippopotamus, as you end up having Rhino go. And I got a lot of chuckles in this issue, but they have to figure out how they're going to power up now. They're now down 3 members, but what they do is get Pierre's leggings and his gauntlets, his electricity deal, and you end up being able to give the one to Taskmaster. Now he has pretty much an electrical sword arm. You end up giving the legging things to Batroc so he can now leap even more and do some electrical kicks, and they go off. And so the team now is Taskmaster, Mr. Fear, Batroc, and Star. And they go off again. They're going to a set location to get a guy who they need, who Fisk says is going to be able to win this whole war against Null. Well, as they go, you end up seeing Ampere getting consumed by some symbiote goo, and we will end up seeing him in a minute as the team starts walking towards the ferry, and they run into a pretty cool scene where you end up having Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist fighting through a ton of symbiotes, and even that deal. It looks fantastic, but it's also pretty funny where you have Luke Cage. Hey, Jess, if you need to take a break, you can take a break. She's like, no, you look like you need to take a break. Danny is like, I want to take a break. I want to get the hell out of here. Please let me go. Stop with your nonsense. And they're fighting. And while that's going on, you end up seeing this weird looking symbiote looking down on the team. Well, that is Ampere as a symbiote. He ends up jumping down. And right away, it doesn't take long. You end up, Taskmaster just slices Ampere's head off, just decapitates him with that electrical sword deal of the gauntlet they stole from Ampere. And the funny thing then is you see that the rest of the team, besides Taskmaster, it seems, doesn't realize that the symbiotes have people inside them, and they freak out. They're all yelling. Batroc is going nuts, like, oh my God. And they're like, yeah, didn't you know this? Like, Venom has this guy, this dude named Baraka. Oh my God, Venom's a person. And you end up while that's going on, Mr. Fear's looking at this body and he realizes it's Ampere and pulls his head off, his decapitated head, and then starts laughing like, oh my God, it's Ampere. I killed him twice. And Taskmaster's like, no, you didn't. I just killed him. Semantics. As they go, well, they're then attacked and they start running. They're trying to get again to the boat. They're going to commandeer a boat. You even have a little, almost an homage to Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad movie, where as they're going, you end up having Mr. Fear smashing a window and grabbing some jewelry out. And, hey, I'm just going to sell this on the black market later. Where Taskmaster says, there ain't going to be no black market later if we don't get to where we're trying to go. They're going to be consumed by these symbiotes. Batroc ends up being the hero, says, I'm going to stay behind. I will fight them off. You guys go, get to the boat, get to this guy we're supposed to go and see. And so they end up doing that. Well, luckily for Batroc, he ends up being able to fight these things off and then running in. He is the leaper, but I do think that with these leg and gauntlet type electricity deal, it does up the ante. He looks like he jumps like a football field in length to get to the boat with the team going off. And he sticks the landing. He's like Mary Lou Retton here, sticks the landing, and they all, pretty much put any sort. You have Star power up her fist. She's going to blast him. You have Mr. Fear with his gun, and you have Taskmaster with the sword, all at his face saying, did you get touched? Are you going to be a symbiote deal? They don't know the full rules and things like that. And I like the play of that. It's a very much a zombie type deal. This could just be a really funny zombie comic, but he says, no. I only get touched if I desire it. And they're like, oh my God, that's gross. And then they go off. Well, they go off to where we don't know exactly where they're going. We find out it's Ravencroft. They're going to Ravencroft Institute. In one of the last jokes of the deal, you have Mr. Fear, he's the star of the show here. He's the star, even with a character named Star on the team. He's hilarious. And he's walking up and he goes, "Boy, Ravencroft Institute, never thought I'd be going here." And they all look at him like, "Really, dude? Like you are one sandwich away from being locked up for life here." And he's like, "Oh, I mean, on purpose, on my own." "Oh, okay." And they go and they knock on the door, open the door, and it's Norman Osborn. And one of the things about this is Norman Osborn has shut Ravencroft tight. You weren't allowed to be in or out with this whole null thing going on. So when they go to get Norman, it's to escort him out of here. And when they see, they're like, "Really? Like, this is who we're getting? Norman Osborn? Oh my God, we're screwed." It's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. Again, Matthew Rosenberg is really bringing the chuckles to me, and a lot of action. It's the same thing, again, like he did in the Grifter story in the Dark Detective Future State over at DC this week. So I had a lot of fun with old Rosenberg this week, and I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really, really did enjoy it, but I hope that you enjoyed the video as well, and I hope that you get a look here of Juan Ferrera's art, which is incredible. He's such a great artist. Love him through and through. So 8.5, and I hope that you will check this out and even some more stuff by Juan especially. But thanks for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, why don't you subscribe below, like it, do all that stuff. Check out our stats in the notes below where we have podcasts and websites for DC and Marvel stuff, and also a Patreon that you can help support us for this video, for all the stuff and the podcasts and stuff like that. But thanks everybody, and I will talk to you later.